Hello students, welcome to the video of 7th General Science. In the last video, we have started the chapter number 5th, that is the food safety. And in that video, we have discussed some points like a food wastage, as food spoilage, and the importance of food. So let's revise the some important points that we discussed in the last video. So first was the importance of the food. We know that what is the importance of food. We get different type of nutrients from the food like carbohydrate, vitamins, proteins, fats, minerals from the important from the food. So the food we eat must be good, it must not be spoiled to get the sufficient amount of these nutrients. Then second we learn that is the factor responsible for the food spoilage. What is the food spoilage? If the odor, color, taste, nutrients has changed, then that food is called the spoiled food. And which are the reasons for this food spoilage? First is the overcooking, second is the wrong method of the storage, and time for the transportation. Means first is the mishandling. These are the improper handling of the food. Due to that methods, the quality of the food get destroyed. Next, food wastage. There are two types of food wastage. First is the qualitative wastage and second is the quantitative wastage. What is qualitative wastage? If the quality of the food reduces, then that is called the qualitative wastage. Means quality of the food get destroyed. Overcooking may be the one of the reason for the qualitative wastage. Second is the quantitative wastage, means amount of food get waste due to certain reasons. What is the quantitative? Means we have already discussed in the last video, that is the hand sowing, hand threshing. These are the reasons due to which the food get waste in a large amount. That is called the quantitative wastage. We know that in our traditional programs we offer and serve more food to the guest, and due to this also the food get waste. And we also have the tradition to wash the vegetables after cutting them. This is responsible to wash out all the important nutrients from the vegetable. So this is the qualitative wastage of the food. And next is the now we are going to start the next point, that is the food preservation and food protection. So these are very important for the food safety. Means we have to preserve the food and we have to protect the food also. Preserve म्हणजे आपण त्याला योग्य प्रकारे साठवणूक वगैरे सुद्धा करायची आहे, and at the same time we have to protect the food from getting damage. Now methods of safe storage of the food like freezing, uh, drying, boiling, airtight packing, etc. We know that these all methods are used in our home. Means freezing, mostly ice creams or fruit juices we kept in freeze to protect them from getting spoiled. Then drying, we dry the most of the grains like wheat or pulses, we dry them, that is called the sun drying. So this is very important to protect, or that is the to store the food for the long time. Then boiling, we know that jam or jellies we make in the home, that it is the process of the boiling. And then airtight packing, so packed in the way that the air should not be contact with the food item, so that it protected from the microorganism. These all processes are very important to protect the food from the microorganism, because microorganisms are responsible for the spoilage of the food. Now let's see what is the food protection. So what is the definition of the food protection? Prevention of food spoilage by microbial growth and infestation by pest is called food protection. So we have to protect the food by microbial growth. Microbes, these are the very microscopic living organisms like bacteria. So we have to protect from the microbes, and also by the pest. You can see in the picture, so these are the insects are present in our home. So they also damage the food. And in this image the food gets spoiled, means wheat gets spoiled by the action of the pest. This is not a microbial action, this is the action by the pest. And these are the mostly found pest which affect the food in our homes. These are the rats or the grain borer or larger grain borer or the moth. These are the some major pests that affect or that damage the food in our home. Now next is the food preservation, means how to keep the food for the long time as it is. So uses of various preservatives to prevent for long period of time food spoilage due to the internal factor is called the food preservation. Means we use different types of preservatives like salt, sugar, vinegar, citric acid. These are the examples of the various preservatives which we use at our home to preserve the food. So these are the food preservations, means we can keep the food as it is for the long time using these preservatives. Now let's see some important methods of food preservation and food protection. So these methods are mostly used in industrial scale and at home also. So these methods are very useful for the protection and the preservation of the food. So first method is the freezing. All we know that the freezing to store the food at the low temperature. We all know that a refrigerator is the very important machine to store the food at the low temperature. What is the use of the freezing? The low temperature does not allow the growth of the microbes, so it reduces the growth of the, or it stops the growth of the microorganism. Due to that the food get preserved for the longer time. That's why we put many substances or food items in the freeze like vegetables, milk or fruit to protect them for the longer time. This is the freezing. Second process is the use of the nitrogen gas. Nitrogen gas is the inert gas, so it does not react with the food items. So in a potato chips bag, the air filled is the nitrogen gas. This nitrogen gas does not combine with the food item, and it also keep the food item fresh for many days and maintain the crispness of that food item. So this is the method is also used for the preservation of the food. Next method is the smoking. In this method the food items which are mostly in non-veg, these items are smoked, treated with the smoke to preserve it for the longer time. Means the smoking or this cooking on a fire uh, reduces the moisture and kill the microorganism in the food. Due to that the food may be stored for the longer time. Next method is the eradication. Means the food items are treated, mostly fruits and some vegetables are treated with the gamma rays radiation, and this radiation reduces the fertility of the fruit or vegetables. Means potatoes, we know the potato gets sprouted after some days, or onions also get sprouting after some days. But if they are treated or eradication is done with them, then their sprouting capacity destroyed and the food can hold for the many days. Next is the pasteurization. Mostly this method is used for the milk. In the case of milk, the milk is firstly heated up to 80 degrees Celsius and then it cool down instantly. This method kills the bacteria, and milk is protected for the many days. So this method was invented by the Louis Pasteur, and due to after his name this method is named as the pasteurization method. Mostly this method is used in the milk industry to keep the milk in a good condition for many days, because it kills the bacteria in a shorter time and will get protected. Now, next method is the use of preservatives. Preservatives are the substances which added to the food items to keep the food items for the many days. So there are two types of preservatives. First is the natural preservatives and second is the chemical preservatives. These both preservatives are added to the substances or use them to keep the food for the longer time and to avoid the wastage of the food. So first is the natural preservatives. We use these preservatives at home like salt, sugar and oil. These preservatives we use to preserve the food items for many days, and these substances are easily available in our kitchen. So these are the natural preservatives. Second is the chemical preservatives. These preservatives are acetic acid, it is also known as vinegar, then citric acid, sodium benzoate and some nitrate and nitrites salt. These are the examples of chemical preservatives. You know the pickles, we know the pickles, the vinegar is added to the pickles. So these are the preservatives. Next is the use of insecticides. You know, insecticides are the substances which used to kill the insects. So one of the most used insecticide is the malathion. Malathion is a insecticide which sprayed on the gunny bags in which food items is stored. Now these are the steps to prevent the wastage of the food and preserve the food for the longer time. Next is the adulteration. In the last year we already learned about the adulteration. What is the adulteration? Adulteration is the adding of the poorer quality substance to reduce the quality of the food. This is the adulteration. That is the action of making something poorer in quality by adding another substances. That we called the adulteration, ज्याला आपण मराठीमध्ये भेसळ असं म्हणतो. This adulteration is very harmful to our body. Some of the adulterants are chemicals and this may damage the vital organs and also affect the health of the human being. So in the following table some adulteration methods of adulteration and how to find the adulteration in the substances is to be identified is given. So you have to read this table and find out how we can find the adulteration in the given food item. Mostly they are the milk, red chili powder, turmeric powder, rava. These are the common examples, but it is also added in different types of substances. So here is the end of the chapter number 5, food safety. Thank you.